There's one topic that's always giving students issues in JAMB Physics, and that topic is circular motion. If you're watching this video and you know you usually struggle with physics, you've had issues with physics, you stay to the end of this video because I'll be breaking down circular motion so that if you see any question on circular motion in your JAMB 2026, you smash it very well. If you're here and you're watching this video and your plan is to score very high in your physics JAMB 2026, you stay to the end of this video. I'll be breaking down circular motion and making it very easy for you. All right, let's start. So what is circular motion? The circular motion of a body is the rotational motion of a body in a circular path. When a body is moving in a circular path, we say the body is undergoing circular motion. When a body moves in a circular path, we say the body is undergoing what? Circular motion. So when a body moves in the circular path like this, we say what? The body is undergoing circular motion. So, of course, when a body is undergoing circular motion, there are some parameters that you must take note of when looking at circular motion. A body undergoing circular motion is covering an angular distance, theta. A body undergoing circular motion is covering an angular distance, theta. Very, very important. Now, what confuses most students about circular motion is that most students are conversant with linear motion, but they are not able to relate linear motion and circular motion easily, and they struggle in the JAMB exam. So today what I'll be doing is I'll be helping you to understand the analogy or relationship between linear motion and circular motion. Now, before I come back to circular motion, I must remind you of things you should have known in linear motion. In linear motion is what we call the distance, S, distance covered by the body. We usually use S to represent the distance covered by the body. In linear motion, we usually use V to represent velocity. And we usually use A to represent acceleration in linear motion. Now, coming to circular motion, these names change. And it's that shift, that change that confuses students in the exam. Now, in circular motion, the distance covered by the body is represented with theta. It's called the angular distance. The velocity attained by the body is called W omega, angular velocity. And the acceleration is called alpha, angular acceleration. So, on the left-hand side, we have the parameters for linear motion, when the body is moving in a linear path. But on the right-hand side, we have the parameters for circular motion, when the body is moving around, going around the circle, going around the circle. Now, there's a formula that links the linear parameters to the circular parameters. There's a constant called the radius, R. If you look at this body moving in a circular path, this is the radius. Every circle has a radius. We know that radius is half the diameter of the body. If you complete this line, we have the diameter. Remember from your school, secondary school? So if you add these two radius, you're going to have diameter. So the radius is a constant in circular motion. Now, I'm going to try to link this linear distance to the angular distance. Now, to link this linear distance to the angular distance, we're going to say linear distance S is equal to the radius times the angular distance, theta. Because as a matter of fact, let me just remind you, or let me show you, that the linear distance S is directly proportional to the angular distance, theta. The linear distance S is directly proportional to the angular distance, theta. So that when a constant comes in, we're going to have S equals to R, theta. Also, the linear velocity V is directly proportional to the angular velocity W. So that when the constant comes in, what do we now have? V equals to R, W. And the last one, the linear acceleration A, you can see A here, is directly proportional to the what? Angular acceleration, alpha. So when a constant comes in, it becomes A equals to R, alpha. These are the three key formulas that you should know if you're dealing with circular motion. Because this formula links the parameters on linear motion to that with circular motion. This formula links the parameters on linear motion to that with circular motion. So they are very, very important that you take note of them. Now, apart from this, there are other things you should also know. There's what we call the centripetal acceleration. Now, for a body to be moving around a circular path, there's an acceleration that keeps the body moving around that path. There's a particular acceleration that allows the body to keep going around. Because it's not easy for a body to just keep going around by itself. There must be an acceleration that keeps the body moving around. That acceleration is called the radial or centripetal acceleration. And the centripetal acceleration has a different formula from these three formulas. So these are normal tangential acceleration. So please do not confuse the tangential acceleration with the centripetal acceleration. These are tangential acceleration. A is r theta. So in your circular motion question, JAMB questions, if you ask to find the tangential acceleration, please do not confuse it with this, with what the centripetal or radial acceleration. So this is our normal acceleration. A is r theta. This is our velocity, v is rw, and this is our distance, s equals to r theta. But Claire, there's another formula called the centripetal acceleration. Very popular formula in your JAMB 2026 exam. Centripetal acceleration, A subscript C, we use A subscript C. Under name for centripetal acceleration is radial acceleration. Is the linear velocity v all over the radius square. So centripetal acceleration is v all over r square. Very important. The centripetal acceleration is v all over r square. The centripetal acceleration is v all over r square. Also, very important, I must remind you that our v is rw. Don't forget our v is rw. So we can still replace this v here with rw since v is rw. So our formula becomes rw all over r square. Our formula becomes rw all over r square. So that if you watch, r can kill one r here and we're left with only one r. This then becomes w all over r. So our centripetal acceleration is w all over r. So if you don't want to use v all over r square, you can replace your v with rw. I will have w all square. Now, sorry, I think there's a little mistake here. This centripetal acceleration is v square all over r, sorry. V square all over r. Our centripetal acceleration is v square all over r. So if we replace v with rw, replace v with rw, we're going to have rw all square all over r. Replace v with rw, we're going to have rw all square all over r because v is rw. So replace v here with rw, we have rw all square all over r. Now if you say this square affects both r and w, so we're going to have r square, w square. But this square belongs to both r and w, so r square, w square all over r. So that when r cancels one r here, we'll be left with one r here. And our centripetal acceleration now becomes rw all square. Our centripetal acceleration now becomes rw all square. Rw all square. Now, there's also what we call the centripetal force. There's also what we call centripetal force. The centripetal force is the force that keeps a body moving around the circular path. Just like the centripetal acceleration keeps a body moving around, the centripetal force also helps the body to keep going around the circular path. And we all know that force, generally, formula for force is mass multiplied by acceleration. But centripetal force Fc is mass times centripetal acceleration AC. The centripetal force Fc is mass times centripetal acceleration AC. So that we're going to say mass times what is centripetal acceleration? V square all over r. So we're going to say mass times V square all over r. So we're now going to have mv square all over r. mv square all over r. Now there's one more thing I didn't mention. Earlier on, when I introduced you to the distance covered by a body in moving in a circular path, remember I showed you that we have distance covered by a body moving in a linear path. When a body is moving in a linear path, straight line is s, right? We use s, and the unit for distance is meters. When a body is moving in a linear path, the unit for the distance covered is what? Is in meters. When a body is moving in a linear path, the velocity is meters per seconds. And when a body is moving in a linear path, the acceleration is meters per second square. These are the units for linear motion. But when you come to circular motion, the units change. So we don't use the same units that we use for linear for circular. The units change. The unit for the angular distance is radians. The unit for the angular velocity is radians per seconds. And the unit for the angular acceleration is radians per second square. Please take note, very, very important. The angular distance covered by a body can be measured in radians. And if I'm to be very thorough, that's not the only unit for the angular distance covered by a body. It will be measured in radians. It will be measured in revolutions. Let me show you. So it will be measured in radians. It will be measured in revolutions. Could also be measured in degree. So there are three formulas for angular distance covered by a body: radians, revolutions, and degree. Radians, revolutions, and degree. So when you measure the angular distance covered by a body, the question you now ask yourself, which of this is the most accepted unit of measurement for angular distance? So if you come back to linear motion, Even though we said that the unit for the distance covered is meters, you must realize that it's not only meter. Meter is not the only unit for distance covered. There are other units. There's centimeter, there's foot, there's yards, there's miles, there's kilometer. But the most accepted unit for measurement for distance is meters. So that's the same thing that is happening in circular motion. The angular distance covered by a body has several units. It has radians, it has revolutions, it has degree. But the most accepted unit is the radians. Please take in case you asked in the exam, what unit is the most accepted unit for the angular distance covered by a body is radians. Now, another thing that they could use to surprise you in the exam is that they could give you angular distance in revolutions and ask to convert to radians. You could also be given your angular distance in degree and ask to convert to radians. So I'm going to show you the conversion unit. How can you convert from radians to revolutions or from radians to degree? How can you easily convert? Now, please take note. Now, in case you are giving your angular distance in revolutions, never use it to solve. Because revolution is not the accepted unit of measurement for angular distance. It is radians. So you need to convert it from revolutions to radians. What is the conversion unit? The conversion unit tells us that if you say 2 pi radians is equivalent to 1 revolution. 2 pi radians is equivalent to 1 revolution. What if you are given in degree and has to convert from radians to degree? Note that 2 pi radians is equivalent to 360 degree. Don't forget degree is represented with this. If I don't need to write degree in words, I will just put this symbol represents degree. 2 pi radians is equivalent to 360 degree. Now, there's still many things under circular motion, but this at least lays the foundation. This lays the foundations. There are many JAMB questions under this circular motion. If you're there and you know that you have very strong issues in physics and you'd like to join our JAMB class, we have a WhatsApp group for our JAMB class. You can message this number on WhatsApp and then we're going to add it to our JAMB WhatsApp group where you'll be coached to score 300 and above in your JAMB and you see your result by yourself. Seeing is believing. You can message us. There's too many things you have to teach on circular motion. You want to understand all these things further. You want us to be coaching and praying for JAMB. Send us a message on WhatsApp. Send the message now. And then just mention the course you're applying for and your name. And we're going to add it to our general WhatsApp group. All right. Before you go, you can hit that subscribe button in the channel so that anytime we post videos that can help you for your JAMB, you'll be aware. Thank you very much.